Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, Stories from the 78, and I am with royalty just because a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is with me. And Dave Mason, how are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
And I didn't know this, we just found this out a little while ago, that you also called Chicago home for a better part of, 14 years? That's a long chunk of time here in the Windy City.
Yeah, the Bears.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right down by the lake. You said you were right around like the Grant Park area. So in the 80s, the Bears were good. So hey, you were. So today, before we get started, you're a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. You've been in the music business for 61 years. That we were just talking before. Congratulations on that. To do anything for 61 years is an incredible accomplishment. But to do it in music, I feel like it's an outstanding accomplishment. It's really, truly amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So you're going to be here in Chicago area, Joliet, the Rialto Square Theater here on May 24th. So like you've done so much and you've worked with so many people. You did something, you worked with the likes of Jimi Hendrix. You've worked with the Beatles. I mean, and you've done things on your own. You have one of the most covered songs of all time that Joe Cocker kind of just put into the ether that became like this whole other entity on its own. But it's all coming from your brain, from your heart, from your soul. Like, is that what people should expect when they go and see you perform here in Joliet coming up in a few weeks?
Well, yeah. I mean, we just
there's a lot there. Sorry.
We're working musicians, man. We just love to play. It's traveling is getting a little harder at my age, but I have a great band, and unfortunately, I've had an audience that's, been there for a long time, and the songs basically, and I my whole life has been, or my whole career doing this has really been based around just live, always trying to give a great live performance. I mean, there's no dancing girls, there ain't no smoke bombs in this.
So you're saying you're not an AC/DC show, is what you're saying?
No. If you're into great music and great songs, just and put across in a really and not just going through the motions either.
Right, and I feel like you hear getting this debate all the time with people who are fans of music from the 60s and 70s versus, and even the 80s. It's to music today. There's that big debate of, does the music have soul? Does the music have heart? Does it have any of that? Well, there's no debate that music from, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s into the grunge, and even what happened with hip hop, there was a lot of passion behind all that music. But, you listen to a song that has people who know how to play the instruments, who wrote the songs, who, can play an instrument outside of a studio in a big room, beating off a crowd. That's just something a little bit different than maybe perhaps putting something on YouTube right away.
Yeah. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, it's the media has dictated, I guess, a lot what the way things go. I mean, the thing is as a working musician, you're basically your bottom line is playing live, whether it's studio or on a stage or whatever. But for a songwriter and somebody who's creating the material, then basically the system today has devastated that part of it.
Right. There's a lot of that back and forth creativity. I feel like that's kind of lost. I mean, I've watched a fair number of documentaries.
It is there, but
the process.
But the problem is that making an album costs money.
Right. Yeah.
and just between the streaming entities that are not paying the correct royalties. Mm-hmm. to writers, the people that don't have the live thing, people who write the songs. So that's just a whole part of this conundrum that's happened here, is that there's a big, in terms of this is the way, whether we're working musicians, writers, or whatever, that's the way we make our living too. So there's a huge part of it gone away in terms of the intellectual side of it, the writing, the songwriting, because nobody's paying them, nobody's paying for it anymore.
So do you think that has is music suffering because of that? You know, because you don't have that?
Well, the artist is suffering, you know, absolutely. I mean, you can't, you know, putting out a new, let's say, if I was going to do a new album, just it's so I'm going to put out something new or whatever. Mm-hmm. Even CDs aren't there anymore. I mean, you're just streaming basically. Right. So there's what to put that album together takes time, and it takes money. So when you're in a situation where eventually it's not worth taking the time and money to create the shit in the first place, you know, it starts dwindling away a little bit. I mean, it's very hard. Even if I put something out, there's you know, everybody about the internet, which is just really a worldwide supermarket. So, you know, but the radio part of it is missing for artists.
Right. So there's not that incentive to do it that way because you have to tail it to whatever. And, you know, it's just like this domino effect almost.
Yeah. Well, so live is really you know, it's the way if you can still get up there and do it and play, it's great. It's fantastic. I love playing.
So you have a
thank God I have it. But if I wanted to just at 77 stay at home and make is where I'm going. At my age, if I wanted to just stay at home in my studio where I'm sitting right now and just write new songs and create, financially it would be a disaster. I'd get to a point where I couldn't afford to do it.
Right. You know, going on tour with your band, I imagine just that touring is, I mean, yes, touring could be grueling because it's travel and you're not home, but there's also that camaraderie you have with your road mates, right? You know, you get up on stage.
I have a great band. We have a great band. They're great musicians, man. They're all really cool guys. And like my John Sambatero has been with me, God, nearly 40 years.
Is there something you guys particularly love to play versus other things? Like, is there something that you look for? I know the event itself is great. Getting on stage, having that feedback from the audience, back and forth, that whole thing. But is there some part of the show that you just love more than others in all of the years that you've toured?
No, we just like doing a great set.
Fair enough.
We're up there trying to get ourselves off here. So it's the audience goes along with it. That's great.
I like that honesty, though. That's
what it is. I mean, otherwise we're just going through the motions, you know. Okay, here's the next song.
In your years of playing, has there been a city, you know, with all due respect to other cities, but has there been a place where you feel like perhaps something resonates a little bit more than other parts of the country or the world, or is it just people come to see you because you are the music they want to see, and you get that reaction across the board?
I mean, I mean, if you're coming to see Dave Mason, I guess you're coming to see Dave Mason. So, you know, as long as it's not just, you know, the sound of one hand clapping, it's all pretty much the same. It's just different location. We're never really there long enough to really, you know, spend time in any one place anyway. So.
And you did mention
in my 40, 50 years of living here in the US, I mean, I've been to nearly every place several times. So.
Yeah, you kind of have this interesting look at probably the country just from all the seeing it from either a bus or a window from an airplane or a stage in whatever city that you're in. It's got to be truly unique experience.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great country.
You said Chicago is where you called home for, you know, a while there. Is there anything that stands out to you of like any of your old haunts that you like to come and check in on when you come back through town?
Lou Malnati's.
Oh yeah, sure. Still here. There's a few of them now.
Rosebuds on Taylor Street was my favorite. Actually, Taylor Street had some great restaurants when it was still. That's what's sad is the neighborhoods are disappearing. I love Chicago when the Italian neighborhood, Polish, there were very distinct neighborhoods, which was great. I love that.
Yeah, and then you had some of the old haunts on
not the same anymore. It's not.
No, yeah,
it is,
yeah.
but it's not like that back then. But Rosebud was one of my favorites on Taylor Street. There's a place called Gennaro's. Man. You had to knock on the door to unlock it to get in. They made this Peugeot that was just unbelievable.
Oh, well, point Dave. Well, there's the good news.
Restaurant ain't there anymore, I don't think.
But the good news is that there's still plenty of other restaurants to try. I mean, the city
there's so many restaurants in Chicago, for God's sake. It's a plethora. It's great. It's great. New York, Chicago is like New York with a Midwest attitude. I mean, anything you can do in New York, you can do in Chicago. It's just a smaller version of it, and the attitude is different.
Absolutely.
But there's great stuff. The great museums, great restaurants, great comedy, great theater, great music. There's all that stuff there.
Yeah, and we got great artists that come through here, like yourself and your band. And looking up some of the stats that you had, I mean, there's some incredible things and people you've worked with. And I mentioned some of them earlier. Is there anybody that you still haven't had a chance to work with that you were, like, you know what, that would be kind of fun if that ever presented itself to me?
The Bonnie Raitt.
Really do appreciate your time talking to me, Dave, and
look forward
to having you here in Joliet, specifically at the Rialto Square Theater. Beautiful venue. If you haven't been, it's a little time capsule of kind of like the Chicago Theater and those types of theaters.
I think I've played there. I'm pretty sure I probably have. I played everywhere. I've opened them and closed them.
Well, we'll see you here on the 24th. Is there, for people who want to follow anything that you do, you have a website you want people to go to or anything?
Yeah, go to DaveMasonMusic.com. DaveMasonMusic.com.
Wonderful talking with you, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see you later. Take care.
Bye.